The Free Fire Pro Series makes its return to North America for Season 2. We'll be catching a lot of action and a lot of booyahs from some of our favorite teams in North America from Season 1, as well as some of the brand new homegrown talent that's already crushed their way through an open qualifier. To make sure you don't miss any of the action for the group stage, last chance qualifier, and the finals, be sure to tune into the broadcast to watch the action with us. All of this and more on your NA Pro Report. Welcome. My name is Melocrate, here to bring you your weekly coverage of the biggest players and the biggest plays in North American Free Fire. The Free Fire Pro Series Season 2 is already well underway. We've wrapped up our Open Qualifiers, 192 teams down to just 18. Those 18 teams will be joined by 6 teams that performed at the top of our Season 1 Grand Finals for a 24-team group stage. This season, we're not just playing for $50,000, so that is a nice chunk of cash to be fighting for. This season, we're actually also playing for an invite to the World Series. The grand champions of Season 2 will receive the first ever North American invite to the play-ins of the Free Fire World Series taking place in Sentosa, Singapore later this year. So with the stakes turned up all the way to 11, let's take a look at the teams that are returning from Season 1 to try and fight their way through the Free Fire Pro Series gauntlet once again. Before we do that, quick reminder of the format. We will have a 4-week group stage, 3 game days per week, and the teams will face off across the 4 weeks to try and rack up points based on their performance, not just in placement, but also in kills. The top teams will move directly to the grand finals. The middle of the pack teams will have to play through a last chance qualifier and earn a top 4 placement to make it back into the finals, and the bottom teams will be eliminated. So with that cleared out, let's check out the teams from Season 1 that are making their way back to the Free Fire Pro Series. Starting off with our Season 1 grand champions, La Bahia make their return under a brand new banner, and there's a couple of name changes, so try and keep up. La Bahia returns as Pisar Esports, so expect them to come back hungry for a back-to-back title. Wasaka makes their return as Virus Gaming, and they were the top LCQ team from Season 1, clearly showing that they had no business in the LCQ and should have been in the finals in the first place. And for our renames, we've got Northblood as well, who is returning as USA Esports, so showing their USA pride on their way back to the Free Fire Pro Series. Now for the other squads, not as many renames. We've got IT Official, very scary edge team. We've got Fuego, very consistent zone team. And we've got La ONU, who is a very opportunistic team, taking very smart third parties and making their way up the rankings with placements. Not exactly a lot of wins, but definitely some very fun fights. Now, for the other squads that made their way through the open qualifier, these teams actually ran all the way back through the round of 192 to the round of 36 again, like they did in Season 1. ZRJ, Dual Kings, and C7 under their new banner, Zundel Esports, have made their return through the entire open qualifier, so shout out to them because that is a huge feat. And lastly, we've got Osaka R15, Skullbreakers, and Club 9D making their return. They were invited based on their performance in the Season 1 Grand Finals as well, though they had to qualify in the last round of the Open Qualifier, the round of 36, but they did so successfully, and they are back to play. Now, the teams returning from Season 1 are not the only teams that we should be worrying or watching about because, of course, we've got brand new talent in the mix, brand new teams in the mix, though some of the talent is returning. One of the biggest names that we're going to be seeing most likely is Atomic Esports. Atomic had a huge run through the open qualifier, and with Abreu from La Bahia in the mix, definitely an interesting dynamic for that squad as they will likely be facing off against their former team very soon in the group stage, and multiple times as well, at least twice. In fact, we do have a double round robin format for this season, which means a lot more games and a lot more chance for competition. Another big squad that we want to shout out, I got my notes right over here, because Team 999, their stats were absolutely ridiculous in the open qualifier, so definitely go ahead and look through the website to see just how dominant they were throughout multiple rounds of the tournament. Keep an eye out for that team, definitely a very scary team. Now, this week's coverage will be a little bit shorter since we do not have results to cover, but expect the Free Fire Pro Report, the NA Pro Report specifically, to cover all of the results from the previous weeks. Though all of our coverage you can catch live. All of the competitive games from the group stage to the LCQ to the grand finals will be streamed live on Twitch and on YouTube. So make sure you don't miss any of the action. You can catch it yourself, and make sure you join us for those broadcasts and cheer on your favorite teams. And if your favorite team isn't playing on the day, come into the chat, talk some trash. We love to see that. And definitely show support for all of our NA friends, because at the end of the road, we will have one team that will be sent off to Singapore to represent North America in its entirety. So definitely a very, very exciting tournament. Once again, a reminder, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the next 4 weeks, we will have game days, and we will have very competitive game days with a fantastic crew of casters, observers, analysts. The entire thing will be there, and we hope to see the entirety of North America there with us. So be sure to tune in. I'll definitely see you all there in the chat. Make sure you participate. Make sure you let your friends know that we should all be tuning in for Season 2, because it's bigger and better than it ever has been. Free Fire Esports is here in North America, so let's show it the best we can. But that's going to be it for me for the first NA Pro Report. Be sure to tune in next week for another bit of coverage from the results of this weekend. So yeah, we'll see you then. Catch you later.